Blessings, welcome in. I hope everyone is doing well. I am Mel. So we got a lot going on as far as there is so much data, so many downloads coming in off the moon right now. It's all about the moon cycles. We're going to dive a little bit into actual women's moon cycles. And this can be used as a metaphor for men. Weaving, looming, being able to weave your own reality, to weave your own tapestry. I call it's weaving the weird, or weaving the word, depending on how one pronounces it. But it's the fabric of reality, of space, of life, okay? So there's a few different things that want to come in, and we will weave and see how they all wish to interconnect to give us a broader perspective of what the universe is trying to discuss with us. Yeah, weaving light. To discuss with us within this now. It's weaving the wisdom, the knowledge of light. Okay, so before we get in, I would like to set the intention and create this sacred space. It is with my soul's highest intention that all messages be delivered directly from Source. I ask that all messages be delivered with 100% pure light, love, compassion, honesty, truth, integrity, and clarity for the highest good of all. I command that no lower vibrational frequencies be permitted within this space. Only love resides here. And so it is. All right, let's jump in. So I've had various forms, and it started out, this thread was having to do with women's menstrual cycles, okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about that and the importance. And I recognize that as we are ascending and our bodies are changing from carbon-based to crystalline, I know a lot of women are starting to freak out because their menstrual cycles are completely off the wall. They're either getting it at different times. What's happening is it's a natural synchronization that's occurring. And we are realigning to the lunar frequencies, which means you will begin. This is why it was always called a moon cycle, because you got your menstrual cycle during, whether it was a new moon or a full moon. There are people that go in between. There are individuals like myself. I will fluctuate between a new moon and a full moon. It depends on what I'm utilizing my creative energy life force for. So we're just going to read a little bit about the white moon and the red moon cycles and just explain it so it helps people. So if you're finding that you're off and you don't feel, because there's so many aspects that come in our modern times in which they're like, oh, I had it every 28 days. I have it this week, every date. I've had it down to a pat. Not realizing that for centuries, we've been off. We haven't actually regulated and been synchronized with the moon cycles, okay? So what are the white moon and red moon cycles, and what do they symbolize for you? Of course, we've discussed it's a woman's cycle. The average moon cycle lasts around 29 days. There are 4 main phases of each, okay? So there's that number 4 frequency, which is interesting because if you look in the tarot, the number 4 relates to the emperor, right? But if you go to death, which is the cycles of birth, life, death, rebirth is a 13, which reduces to a 4. So there's that baseline of feminine frequency, okay? And then we can go in to say, you can see how the masculine took away the feminine frequency, and we can bitch, moan, and groan and all that. That's not what we're here to do today, okay? We're not going there. So clear, cancel, delete that, whoever's throwing that thought form. So there's 4 main phases. There's your bleeding phase, which is the new moon, pre-ovulation, ovulation, which is the waxing moon, ovulation phase, full moon, premenstrual phase, waning moon, okay? Here's the thing, in ancient times, a woman's cycle was honored and celebrated, while her bleeding phase was ritualized. Women of all ages came together in sacred circles and moon lodges. Getting your moon was seen as a beautiful gift. This is where there would be sacred rites of passage for young women who they had that rite of passage moving into their womanhood. And it was honored, and now it's shamed in our societies, okay? And you'll understand where I'm getting to, because there's so much magic in the power of your cycles. Again, yes. Okay, I see now. Yeah. The patriarchy felt threatened by the power and the magic that these women held within, which only magnified when they came together. That's that sisterhood. That's supporting another woman. And here we're always having this competition and, fighting amongst each other. And it's unfortunate versus coming together and recognizing we all bleed the same. There really is no difference. So why are we attacking, and why are we not uplifting and supporting and encouraging each other? And this goes for men and women, okay? So I want to just explain a little about the white moon and the red moon. And then I have a song, and then we're going to go into weaving and some myths about weaving. The terms white woman and red woman symbolize the different ways a woman's cycle is currently flowing with the moon. You can figure all that out. So with the white moon, it's most common, it's linked to new moons. So this is where we get the idea of setting new intentions, planting seeds, right? It's like, okay, what do I want to come into fruition? What am I trying to create that will be birthed into my reality, right? So because this cycle mirrors the traditional cycle of the moon and Mother Earth, a woman with a white moon cycle is said to be in her mother phase. Mothering phase is basically when you're in fertility and you wish to create another human being, so to speak. But you can still be in a white moon cycle wanting to create something in physical matter, right? Whether that's art, whether that's music, whether that's choreography, whether that is a new class, a new project. It's the fact of, you can see how symbolic this energy, and it's vast in our ability to work with it, okay? It's not just about fertility of giving birth and creating humans. There are many people that are well past their fertility stages, so to speak, based on the human body and functioning. Yet they're still creating at that new moon, okay? So the new moon's said to be the most fertile of times. It's a mothering energy. It's taking care of, it's nurturing, whether that's family, spouse, your projects, yourself. Okay? This may be in your intuition gently reminding you that you need more love and care right now, and devote your resources inward instead of outward. So the new moon's more of like an outwardly manifestation from these moon cycles. The red moon is said to be less common. In ancient times, these were women who were priestesses, the healers, the witches, the medicine woman. And I want to acknowledge witches, the crones. All it means is wise women. They understood the power of their fertility, of their life force, and it's sacred. I don't want to say was, it is sacred. That's a misconception of loss of memory to say was, because many of us still carry forth these traditions now. Okay, let's simmer down, whoever's coming in. These medicine women, these healers, these priestesses, you can see in history of women, the priestesses of the sacred flame. The sacred flame is the representation of that eternal life force. And it was, they had to protect to keep that from that flame going out, okay? Because it was their God source. These women who they're focused on channeling their creative energy inward, right? Women with a red moon cycle have a deep desire for self-actualization, self-growth, creativity, business, mentorship, and development. Everything they learn and experience helps empower them from within, enabling them to empower the women around them. So they learn to, it's a self-sourcing type of energy that continuously burns, regenerates within the form, right? Although it's not so externally focused, it is used for higher creative endeavors, so to speak, than creating children, sexual, etc. Okay? But you need to be able to cultivate this internal source that is you and yours alone, versus outwardly trying to pull in order to create something. Okay? So, yeah, this says, the red moon cycle is also said to offer a deep connection to a woman's sexual energy, powerfully potent energy that the patriarch has tried and continues to disconnect us from. Now, here's the thing. A woman on a red moon cycle is a woman of great power. They're wise women. So it was these women who were labeled witches and punished, vilified, and ostracized from society. I get it. I've seen it century after century after century, and even this lifetime. But here's the thing. This is where we're going to move into weaving the weird. We're all set with fate, right? Or at least those that believe in it. And although there are fated events, we have the ability to reweave and create our destinies, to weave our tapestries, our lives. Just because it was fated and it has been passed down generation to generation does not mean we need to continue to keep sewing that thread into our tapestry. All right? Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to move on. That's just a little bit about, so if you wish to look into whether you're a white moon or a red moon, and there is no good or bad as far as when you fall. Sometimes you fall in between those new moons and full moons. And I want to point out, we are in a very big moon cycle right now, because at the end of this month, what was the date? Where did I put it? On the 30th, we're going to have a blue moon, which is the second super moon of this month, right? So we're in a very creative cycle at this time, okay? And yes, because I've had energies of Ragnarok come up a lot lately. Cosmic ordering, things like that. What we've created from the previous full moon to the next full moon is ultimately going to weave our webs of our future timelines and pathways. So, although this full moon is not here yet, going forward, be very mindful of what you're weaving. Okay? What intentions you have behind that. I know I've already spoke about the haphazardness of people creating things and not really. Yeah, we're not going to go there. All right. So anyway, now I want to read a song called "The Loom" by Anila, or is it Anila? I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but I absolutely love her music. It says, "I'm weaving you a remedy, so pulled by threads of ancestry. We've sown seeds of memory. I'm braiding a new tapestry. Where is my altar? Who am I calling? Where is my altar? Where is my center? I took your ashes to the lake. I made a place of offering. I pulled my needle through your name, and I let the water wash away. Where is my altar? Where is the center? Bloodline memory. Where is my altar? Where is the center? Where is my altar? Where is my altar? Here is the altar. Here is the center." End. So it speaks of the loom and our abilities to weave our tapestries of life. Anyone that knows about the myth of the Spider Woman, which is a goddess of weaving in indigenous peoples and their mythology. I would like to read this with you all. And hey, if you guys don't like story time, it's okay. I'm just sharing various stories, etc., that have great analogies that we can utilize in our everyday lives. You know, that's why storytelling, prior to being able to write, was communicated. It was passed down generation to generation through these stories. And the morals, the ethics, and what mattered and what these peoples lived by was their legacy, okay? And somewhere along the line, we've lost that in, the mirror, the reflection, listening, Pruning, cutting. What are we cutting away? The briar. It's been overgrown. These type of teachings, these lessons, these truths that are generational. It's been overgrown to where we haven't fully understood and carried forth these legacies of light, so to speak. So the myth of the Spider Woman, 20 minutes. Okay, I will try to do this quickly. Goddess of weaving. And in many other cultures, you hear about the Fates, you hear about the Norns. You know, they all represent this cyclical nature, which is tied into the moon. It's a feminine energy, and we've shamed it for so long. Many of us have not been able to fully embody our feminine essence, male and female alike. We want to always say, yes, that was one of the messages. We just want to bring in solar codes. We just want to bring in light. This is da-da-da-da. Think about it. Are you balanced? Are you balanced? If you were just light, solar. You're too much solar, you're going to fucking explode. No offense, but yeah. Okay. We're being called to fully step into these lunar codes and anchor them into our forms, into our consciousness, into our awareness, into the grids of the earth. Okay? And I know there's a lot of distortion around the moon. And but if you look at it just as a feminine frequency, how long have we been defiling, negating, ostracizing, tearing apart, desensitizing? Oh yeah, desensitizing. Because we don't want to feel. Yeah, all right, I gotcha. These are keys to creation. And there's a reason we've been kept from these things. There's a reason these keys have been distorted and created as malicious, living light energy. To fully come back into unification with the natural elements of creation. Excuse me. A little bit of a transmutation going on right now. It's 12:02, okay. On August 21st. Mirrored numbers. And usually the 1212 is the masculine frequency. 3, 2, 6, 8. Oh, back to now the 3 and 11. Okay. There was a shift in awareness. Okay. Pardon. I'm sorry, guys. I know I'm kind of all over the place at the moment. I am, yeah. All right, the myth of the Spider Woman, the goddess of weaving. There once was a time long, long ago when the Navajo people did not know how to weave, and so they lived in perpetual winter. Perpetual winter is a representation of lack mentality, in which we all recognize that is a huge distortion wound that we just keep carrying over and over through ancestral lineages. And we're all trying to break that cycle. Perpetual winter. And though the seasons changed, they also felt the cold of fear in their bones. They worried about their children and the survival of their community. One day, 2 brave women decided to leave the camp and go in search of help. They headed into the canyon and found a quiet place where they stopped to pray. Almost immediately, the silence was shattered by the sound of a thunderous voice calling down from the top of the canyon wall. "I hear your prayers, and I will help you," echoed the voice of the Spider-Woman throughout the canyon. The women were startled and looked up at the woman who stood over them. They had never seen her before, and yet her presence felt familiar. They somehow knew that she was one of them, related by time and place, and they gazed at her as she stood above them. "Our people are cold and hungry," they told her, "and we need food and warmth for our families." "Yes, I know," replied the Spider-Woman. "I've been waiting for you to come to me. It's time for you to learn. I will help you, but first you must weave me a rug." And she spun out a long web and lassoed the two women, pulling them up to where she stood over the canyon. "First, I will build the loom." She spun out another long strand of net-like webbing and lassoed first one pine tree, then another, and stripped them of their branches. Then she planted their trunks firmly into the ground, creating two parallel poles. Parallel poles are pillars of light. Many people see that as the 11, right? It's part of the foundational structure. "First, you must build up and then across," she instructed. She placed two more poles across the top and bottom until she had a frame. "With this loom, you will learn to weave." "We don't have time to weave a rug," they told her. "We must return to our families with food and blankets. Please, won't you give us what we need?" "You will return with all that you need and more," she assured them, and began to gather materials. With another strand of her web, she lassoed sheep from the canyon below and sheared off their fleecy coats, then showed the women how to wash and card the wool. Together they spun the wool into yarn. With another mighty strand of her web, Spider-Woman began to gather colors from the earth and sky. She took purple from the mountains, blue from the sky, green from the treetops, black from the dark clouds, red from the hot desert sand, white from the moon and the stars, and yellow from the desert yucca plants. The women dyed the wool with all the colors of their world. "Now you are ready to weave," Spider-Woman informed them. "The most important thing to remember above all else is to hold only the most beautiful thoughts in your mind as you weave. You must weave from your heart and your soul." And with these few simple instructions, the women began to weave, threading the colorful wool from east to west. Back and forth through the vertical strings, they passed the weft over and under, the warps in a rhythmic pattern, holding only the most beautiful thoughts of their heads, and did not notice that Spider-Woman had gone. When the rug was finally complete, the woman sat back and admired their work. And Spider-Woman returned. "We have woven your rug," the woman told her. "And now will you help our families? You have everything you need now to help your families and sustain your lives for generations to come. The gift of weaving has always been and will always be yours. Take it back to your people. Take it back to your people." The women returned to their camp and immediately began teaching their people to weave beautiful rugs with the colors of their world. They were able to trade their rugs for food and warm animal skin blankets, and soon they had everything they needed, and their lives were prosperous. A year later, the two women returned to the canyon to find Spider-Woman and thanked her for the gift, but they never saw her again. Spider-Woman, the archetypal weaver of the web and creator of life, shows up in our myths and stories in a variety of forms and disguises. In mythologies all over the world, female deities are depicted at the loom, knitting together the fabric of human life, spinning out the thread that links the events of the past with the potentialities of the future. The image of weaving is one of the most ancient associated with the female domain. So, the feminine's coming through with these analogies and these stories to share her mysteries, okay? Yeah, the cauldron. To share her mysteries. This is a part of creation that we've lost over time and through centuries and generations. This part of the feminine, of creation, is these lunar codes of the feminine frequency. And again, this is not, intimacy. This is not negating the masculine. We're trying to bring harmony and balance back in, okay? But if we're not willing to tap in to these things like the moon, the natural cycles, and we're only focused on masculine energies, which are solar, but I'm going to throw a twist out here. In many cultures, the masculine was the lunar, and the feminine was the solar frequency. So when you can see those, yes, there's your fours. Masculine, masculine, feminine, feminine. Yes, it creates dagas. Okay, I see. Yep. It creates dagas, which is a new beginning. It's a new dawn. It's a new creation. So when you can start to utilize these mythologies, these stories, 1211, okay, 311, 837, okay. When you can start seeing how creation weaves itself, and we are part of those weavers. We are the creators, especially in our own individualized realities. But how our individualized realities create up the greater whole and the cosmic design is just, it's magical because it's living light energy. Our sacred trees. And the light codes that are offered to us. It's a 24 and a 25. There's an ascending in numbers. Or descending, depending on how you're perceiving. All right, so we're just going to throw a couple cards to see what else would like to be discussed as far as these things that are coming through as far as the moon. I'm not sure if I've actually given anyone answers, but I think and I trust the way that my soul prefers to weave. And I will plant these seeds. I won't give you the answers, but I'll show you where to look. The shell, yes, and the pearl. Wisdom, the Sophia. It's a 5. It's 50. It's change. Dexterity. Okay, I'm hearing dexterity. What we go through to retrieve these pearls of wisdom. These pearls of knowing and understanding. And then you can see the shell as a hard casing, too, as a part of protection. This is sacred wisdom. And there are reasons why these things were only shared amongst few and small circles. And they were passed down through stories and verbal communication versus writing them down, because we know, just like in the Bible and many sacred texts, they were altered based off of someone's belief system. Okay? Oh, wow, we're getting a lot of, okay. So we have the sickle, the light, and the mirror. It's an 11, a 7, and a 13. 11, 7, 13, 4, 11, 11. The sickle could be utilized as cutting things out, right? This is separating the wheat from the chaff, right? Removing what no longer barley. But this can also be seen as the harvest. Harvesting wisdom from your own light, not looshing. So that you can become the mirror that holds these little pearls, these pearlescent lights and beams, and reflect them out into your reality. Light reflecting from a mirror, shining that knowledge and wisdom. Being able to see the truth and cutting out what no longer serves, so that you can weave. This is the wheats I'm being shown, what is it? Bridget's cross. And that's another. Do I look that up, or do I just let you guys, you want to, if that's something that interests you? Bridget's cross. Yeah. Yes, Bridget's cross. It was woven from straw or rushes. And it's kind of in that 4. All right, I'll try and show it to you guys. I don't know. We'll see. But it's in that symbol. So do you see, it's kind of like a pinwheel, but it has the center, right? The center piece is what, again, what Anila was talking about, her loom. There's various forms of weaving, not just by the spider web, weaving baskets, weaving clothing, weaving tapestries, weaving life, our soul's journey. How are we choosing to weave and walk these pathways, right? Oh, this is getting exciting. What am I? Oh, 40 minutes? Jesus. Memory. We're weaving memory. Although this card's a little, it's a 15. But memory. Oh, okay. I'm seeing a different thread, but we're not going to go there. Nope. Yeah, a crossroads. And this card, this is Hecate. It's Hecate. She's the goddess of the moon. She stands in between different roads and pathways. She has the keys to enter into the different realms. She has power over, I don't want to say power over, that's not, no. She is gifted the opportunity to walk the 3 realms. The higher, the middle, and the lower. the underworld, the 3D, higher dimensions, what have you. And is able to explore, to reconcile. Do you see how she's making offerings to the moon? It's a 17, that's an 8. You can see that as the star. She has these little glistening pieces that the moon lights her way, and she trusts it. She trusts her feelings. She trusts her knowing as she explores these crossroads. Right? All right, Spirit, how do you want to close this out? The Wind Rider. Yeah, there's that 4. There's the 8 and the 4. It's got like a Valkyrie energy to it. Trusting her birds. Trusting that she is able to see from a higher perspective, even in the night. Because she trusts, because she makes offerings, yet she's able to receive memory to help guide her on her journey. To be able to communicate, to be able to climb the holy mountain. Yeah, look at this, right? The Veil Walker. She's got the distaff, right? There's the birds again. She trusts having communication from the divine that guides her to walk in between various realms. Being the pathfinder. Finding her own way. Cutting out what's been overgrown, that's been hiding this knowledge and this wisdom. Carving, exploring her own path of memory and remembering her light, reflecting that light. The distaff is used in weaving. This energy is like, it's, yes, there is fated events. Yes. But we have the ability to work with fate and create our own destinies. That's the difference. We're not subjected to what's already been written. We have the opportunity to create and explore what truly represents our soul reflection, who we are, our light. Okay. 1222. Yes, look at that. The Weaver. You just can't make this shit up. I'm sorry. Can you see that? Focus. The Weaver. It's a 24 and a 6. Harmony, balance. How are you choosing to create your reality? 24, 27, it's a companion. Again, there's those birds. It's that air element. It's the intelligence. Listening to the spiritual messages. Reconciliation, the Veil Walker. Because then you can see what's coming. The Soothsayer. There's more birds. It's a 5. When you learn to weave your own light, Spirit walks with you. Look at all these birds. Look at all these companions, right? spiritual information coming in. She walks with her hounds. These are her familiars. They guide her. They help her so that she can see future potentials. What might block? What adversal type of energies may be coming ahead? How can we heal? Yes, the roots. Our roots. It's a 10 and a 7. 17, we're back to the star. That's an 8. It's a strength card. Like, you can see that. Look. We've domesticated. And I get it, the lion's a cat. But this is just what I pictured. The knowledge and the wisdom. See how much softer and gentler this energy is? Because she's learned to domesticate her inner aspects, but she understands still her wildness because she's connected to her roots, the roots of creation. Yeah, the priestess, stargazer. Ooh, that was fun. Thanks, Spirit. Heaven sent. Oh shit, 46 minutes. All right, my apologies. If you guys have sat through, 47 minutes of me rambling, I greatly appreciate you. Very much so. Thank you. We're just flowing, and that's how it is. Yeah, it's time to rest. It's a 40. Get a cup of tea and a good book. You'd be surprised what you learn when you just sit and listen. Yeah. All right. So this was just a little, wasn't little, but sharing of feminine lunar codes, helping separate the wheat from the chaff. Bones. There's great knowledge, there's great wisdom. And when you see, Sophia means wisdom. Okay? The Wayfarer. And the Sophia shows up in many, many forms. That feminine mysteries. And if you're willing to go there because you want to integrate your feminine and masculine energies. I mean, I encourage you all. Dive in there. See how you align. How does it show up for you? What fairy spotting? Yeah. It's time to go fairy spotting. It's said that seeing is believing, but in fact the opposite is true. Believing is seeing. The magical gateway. She has the key. You have the key to your own doorway. Step boldly forward. Start stargazing, dreaming. Through pure intention. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to leave that there. I appreciate you all. I hope this brings a little bit of insight. It brings forth just some things to think about that gift a little opening so that can help you listen for truth, what your truth is. Not my truth, Not anybody else's truth. Yeah, see, that listener keeps coming up. The listener, listening for truth. What is your truth? What resonates for you? What reverberates in your body? What absolutely makes sense for you? It's just a knowing. Because your body's preserved it all this time. It's been passed down, these secrets. Don't hide away from them. Step in. The Divine Feminine's calling many people right now. And it's a beautiful journey if you're willing to trust and listen to her ways. So I send you all off with much love and many blessings on your journeys forward. Take care.